What is up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Show After RoW, where I tell you guys exactly what happens to me after I leave the RoW arena, because I've been doing that a little bit more lately. All right, so today was training day, and the problem is that like my brain immediately went straight to, okay. So first of all, I left early. They're still training over there right now because my brain immediately went straight to, oh, I gotta go to work in the morning, so I gotta get ready to go. Because it was like, what time is it? Oh, it's 10:20. I gotta go. And then I checked the calendar and it's like, oh, today's Friday. I'm off this weekend. So I could have stuck around a little bit more and got some more training in. And it'll look just really weird for me to just say, all right, guys, I'll see y'all next time, and then just come right back. You know, that'd just be really weird. But while I was there, today was not a feat of clay. Today was not a feat of clay. Today was surprisingly a little bit better than it normally was. I was like, it didn't. Or rather, I didn't. It did. I did mess up, but I don't feel as terrible about it. Okay, so here's the thing. We were doing obviously we were doing warm ups and at some point the trainer decided to do cardio. Now, for those who don't know, I am bad at cardio. We're doing cardio and my shoe was untied, so I slipped while we were running. I slipped. Thankfully, it was inside and it was around the ring, so I slipped on a matted area, so I didn't like slip and fall on just straight concrete ground. It was a matted area. I slipped and fell. It was mostly me that's being embarrassed, but it was like. But then at some point, like I said, this was a pretty lengthy run. At the end of the run, we go onto the apron, we jump over the top rope, we roll, and we roll again, and then we get out the ring. And that didn't happen either. I get over the top rope, my leg just literally just buckles right underneath me, and I just crumble. And what made this even worse was that I was the first person to do it. I was the first person in line to do that part. So everybody else after me saw me do that. And like I say, one thing I will say about my fellow trainees is that there is no form of humiliation there. It's like if you mess up, they're not telling you I'm not being laughed at. They're not telling me, "LOL, you suck." They're just trying to motivate me and try to move me forward. And that feels, like I say, that always feels good because of the fact that it's like they could have easily just say, "Get the F out the ring, you suck," right? It made me think about when I was in the military, and they kind of didn't do it there either. Like one thing I kind of noticed is that like in a lot of training based environments, like you watch the movies, and the movies are basically everybody's giving you a rough time because everybody is tough and gruff, and it's like everybody like while I was in the military, I did get a couple of people giving me a rough time, but for the few that was giving me a rough time, a couple more weren't, if that makes sense. But like I said, they really, I felt more bad for what I was doing than how everybody else felt about me. Like nobody told me that I sucked. Nobody told me that I was garbage. Nobody told me it was just a case of, like for me, I was making a bad life out of a bad moment, so to speak. And it really kind of made me think to myself, and the sad part is that like those screw ups really kind of affected me the entire training session because I just, like I say, I kept messing up. And for those who don't understand the feat of clay moment, in the Bible, King Nebuchadnezzar he decided to make a statue of like all the metals, but he made the feet part of clay. So at some point the statue fell apart because the clay part gave way to the weight of the statue and it fell over. So whenever I say feet of clay, that's what it means. It's basically like a screw up at the beginning just sort of ruins the whole thing. And that's kind of what it felt like to me until I realized that nobody tells me, like I said, it was just like in my brain, I'm just like, I just humiliated myself in front of everybody. And people were telling me, no, you didn't. That's all I kind of needed to hear. And I stuck around for the majority of the time I was there. So that felt good. It felt good knowing that nobody else thought that I sucked as badly as I might have thought that I sucked at that moment. But yeah, I still, like I said, I still fell down. you know, twice, and I think I was the only one that did. But I like to think that I like to think that I did a little bit better than I normally do. So that's something. It's just if my voice sounds different, it's because I was also, you know, like like no matter how much water I drunk, my throat is still feeling dry right now. I don't know why. Like I hope it's not what I think it is, but yeah, it's not. It's not. But I ain't gonna lie though. I do, I do. I was coughing a little bit, and it really kind of bummed me out. It's not what I think it is. I don't think. I hope not. But yeah. But yeah, like I said, going back to training felt good. Going back to training feels good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna like I keep my brain just immediately kind of goes straight to I'm messing up a lot, but that's only because I haven't done it in a while. I just need to get back into it and get my reps in, get my vibe on, get my groove on, and and also get out of my own head. Because my problem is that like I overthink things, and when I overthink things, like I'm planning 1,000 steps before I make the first one, and the first one sucks. So yeah, it's just simply a matter of me just like getting back out there and just ultimately doing it and getting back on the swing of things. While it's on my mind, I don't. I think I said this in my last video. The Rajai Jackson thing. I don't want to talk about it, and the big reason why is because I know where the discussion is going to go. There's way too many instances and way too many moments of context because people when something like this happens, people want to pick a side. People want to pick a side, and people want to pick a side so they can badmouth the thing that they're against, because that's kind of the American way. Is like we don't really want to help out who we like as much as we want to trash who we dislike, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is that like who do you badmouth in this situation? So because of the fact that I feel like essentially everybody is to blame for what happened, I you know like I don't really have anything to say about it. It was just way too many cogs in the wheel, but the car is still there's way too many cogs in the wheel, but the car is still undrivable. Does that make sense? But I also don't want to talk about it because I know where the discussions are going to go, and one of the discussions is automatic. Like one is it's going to get racial. It's going to get racial really quick. Like the racists are like chomping at the bit at this moment. But then also it's going to be a whole bunch of people who don't know anything about professional wrestling or never cared about professional wrestling or is like it's fake. You know what I'm saying? Like those people are now going to want to have their take and their fill on like professional wrestling, and it's just going to be like this complete and utter like it's going to be like hearing somebody who doesn't. It's going to be like hearing somebody who has been talking trash about anime for years talk about anime. You see what I'm saying? It's gonna be like that, and I don't want to throw my hat in a ring to have to discuss professional wrestling to people who don't care about professional wrestling, and also I don't want to discuss race issues in professional wrestling with like people who don't like with people who are just chomping at the bit to sort of use this as a means to say, see, this is why being racist is a good thing because Rhonda Jackson, you know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't want to talk, and I'm saying I don't want to talk about it, but here I am talking about it. But notice how I'm not talking about the incident itself. I'm talking about the reactions to the incident. You feel me? The discussions that the people are going to have about this. Like I said, I think the most annoying part is that it's going to get racial, and the racists are going to just like they're just like licking up. They're just licking their chops at this. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, um, you know, I also don't think Hulk Hogan is really dead. I just don't. Like it sounds humorous, but it's just like I don't know. I feel like Hogan saw his theme song guy die and Sabu die and was like, pretty sure my death could probably get more hits than those guys. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like. I honestly I feel like you're gonna at some point just see a really pale guy. I feel like at some point you're just gonna see a really pale fat guy with a really nice mustache and some sunglasses, and you're gonna be like, that can't be. That's what I'm saying. Well, I do feel bad for his grandkids though. But yeah, in any case though, I'm just pointing this out because like there's a lot that's going into. There's a lot like professional wrestling is going through a pretty rough spot these past these past couple weeks, and I'm just sort of like, ooh, wow, I'm just not noticing that. And I don't know. I guess it is a lot to talk about, but I don't want to talk about the pop culture stuff because a lot of fans, like I said, a lot of fans don't like. They want to pick a side. They want to say somebody sucks. The one thing about wrestling fans is that they always want to say that somebody sucks, and I'm not. I don't want to have that conversation because I don't think anybody sucks. I just think that the situation itself was pretty sucky. But back to training. Um, yeah, it was like I said, training. Um, I'm I don't like I don't think I did that well, but nobody told me I suck, so I wasn't that garbage, right? There's that. Like I always go by this metric. I always go by this metric, and the metric is, you know, I'm not gonna think that I'm bad until somebody tells me I'm bad, and so far, nobody has told me that I'm bad. I mean, I have been reprimanded, but nobody has just straight up told me you're garbage, go home. So as long as I don't get a you're garbage, go home, I'm not garbage. I ain't gotta go home. So I did good today. We'll say that. I did good today. All right, y'all. Love, peace, and I'll see y'all in the ring very soon.